Following an outstanding regular season, a share of the Conference USA Championship, and now getting the number 2 seed in the CUSA tournament, the Liberty Lady Flames are ready to get things underway this week in Miami. We're visiting now with the head coach, Wedemeyer, and trying to make it back-to-back conference championships here. The extra rest that you get with being one of the top seeds in this thing, is that valuable?
Oh, absolutely. You know, with the game playing Wednesday, then Friday, then Sunday, having that extra day is big. Certainly you have the travel down to Miami, which will be tough for all the teams, but it is a blessing to be able to get that extra day.
You know, a 14-1-4 regular season, the grit, determination, the fight of this team, the belief, how would you characterize it?
Well, again, one of the things that really makes it special is if you look at our starting lineup, there are 8 different starters from last year's Conference USA Championship game. So they've got a lot of young players that are really risen up this year and kind of taken the reins over from some of the great players from last year that we had. So I'm really proud of how they've stepped up their game.
You know, one of the things that's most impressive to me, looking at the numbers, you lead this league in goals against average despite not having your goalkeeper in Ainsley Leah all season. You've kind of been able to split the reps with Peyton Huber, with Grace Workman. How great of a job have those two done?
Yeah, it's been really good that they've been able to step in for us and take that role upon their shoulders. I mean, Peyton came back from an injury, so she's truly a freshman right now. And Grace redshirted last year, I mean, she's just a young sophomore. And so the fact that they've been able to step in and be able to push each other and challenge each other, support each other, because sometimes we're splitting them, sometimes one gets the full 90. And it's been great to see how they've managed that and come closer.
When you have a championship team, you have to get contributions like that, like you mentioned from Peyton, from Brianna Myers as well, who redshirted last year. Now she's a part of it on the field. How big has that been, just getting those contributions from I don't want to say random people, but from different folks?
Certainly, it's been great. You know, Bree is kind of our unsung hero this year. I mean, she's the girl that does a lot of the dirty work on the field, chases down balls, just really gritty and determined, connects the back line with the midfielders. You know, she doesn't have a ton of stats to show, but she's been arguably, you know, that player that's been the glue for us on the field in a lot of respects. And so it's been great to get her back from an injury last year. Hallie Engel's another one of those that redshirted last year and really came back fit and determined and just kind of on fire, ready to go and get back into it. So we've had a number of those. You know, Avonlea Monteith and Gabby Miranda, 2 players who played last year but weren't significant players as far as minutes were concerned, but have really stepped up their game this year. So it's been great to see.
Now Engel leading this team in goals and third in the conference, I think, at the time of this conversation in scoring. When you look at the possible opponents, you've got Jacksonville State, a team that you beat this year. You've got New Mexico State, a team that you tied this year. I'm not going to ask you if there's any preference on who you want to face at this point. Maybe New Mexico State to get the win, but how do you prepare at this point? How do you keep them prepared?
That's a great question, and you know, both teams play different formations, so it's a little bit hard from a game plan standpoint until we figure out who's gonna win, and that's our opponent for the next round. But you know, for us, it's really about focusing on some of the details, some of the nuances, defensively and offensively, of things that we can control, kind of regardless of formation. So that's where our focus is these first 2 days going into the season.
And the possibility of a rematch with FIU for the championship on their home field, potentially. Obviously, that's the one loss here from this year, the one blemish on the record. How do you keep them? Are you concerned about them looking ahead to that?
Certainly, there's always that little bit of a fear from a coaching standpoint that we overlook our semifinal opponent, you know, and so anxious to get to that championship game. But again, one of the things that's been great about this team, and part of it's because we are young and because a lot of these girls are just hungry week in and week out to kind of prove themselves. We haven't really been complacent in a lot of games, and so I think that they'll continue to have that mindset going into the semifinal.
Very good, Coach. Appreciate the time. Best of luck and safe travels headed down to Miami.
Hi, thank you so much.
All right, we're joined now by redshirt junior Bree Myers, getting set to play in the Conference USA Championship here with the Lady Flames in the semifinals coming up on Friday. Bree, congrats on getting to this point, a 14-1-4 season. What a special year, and coming after you redshirted last year, you watched your team win the conference championship. Now to be a part of it with them, how special has this been?
Yeah, obviously I think it's really special coming off of being redshirted last year. I definitely felt a part of the team last year, but definitely making more of an impact being on the field. Me and Hallie and Peyton have all redshirted last year, so I feel like coming into this, we just really want to win it for our team.
And then you look at the extra rest coming in. You get a couple of days now as going into the bye, right? You get straight to the semifinals. How valuable is that at this point in the year?
Yeah, so at this point, every team's tired, so that extra rest could be that little inch that wins the game for us at the end of the day. Coming in a little bit fresher than the other teams is going to help us have an edge over our competition.
You play either Jacksonville State or New Mexico State on Friday at 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock, excuse me, in Miami. I'm not going to necessarily ask who would you prefer. You beat Jacksonville State, you tied New Mexico State. Maybe that's a little incentive. You'd like to get a win against them. But how do you prepare at this point after having seen both of them?
Yeah, so obviously not knowing who we're going to play is tough going into this week of practice, but having played both of those teams has been a huge advantage going into this next game. I feel like both teams would be great competition. Either team, we're looking forward to bringing a good game and just playing our best.
The one blemish on the record this year was FIU. There's a chance you could see them in the title game on their home field. That's got to be kind of in the back of your mind, but then also trying to get to the NCAA tournament, which would also be special. How do you take it one thing at a time?
Yeah, so it's difficult having that in the back of our minds. Obviously, we want to play FIU again. We want to beat them and show that we are the best team in the conference. But we're also focused on the next game. Like it's hard being so excited going into this conference tournament, but we got to focus on Friday before we get to Sunday.
Very good, Bree. Appreciate the time. Best of luck coming up here in the conference championship.
Thank you.